G'day, I'm Ash, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we'll be checking out one of the Corsairs, an American fighter. We don't really cover Americans too greatly here, or at least American aviation. I tend to be fans of other unique things, and I have been struggling to actually make decent content, but regardless, I've been quite busy. I'm trying to set up a new office, I'm trying to do sort of billion things, work is going ahead. And I'd like to thank everyone for supporting the channel and getting that amazing Ash decal, which you see on the side of this vehicle. If you haven't gotten already, there's a link in the description down below. More importantly, I thought it'd be fun to go down and play some lower tier vehicles. Jeebus and Diesel needed to get some daily tasks done for the battle pass, so they were like, okay, let's just fly a bunch of things and see if we can actually get anything done. And you know what, for a Corsair at 3.0, that cost 18,000 research points to research. This thing is pretty bloody good. It's one of those aircraft that doesn't really do anything particularly well, but does everything okay. Now, general flight performance is about 671 kilometers an hour, about 6,000 meters. It's got a radial engine in it with air cooling. Max altitude is about 12,000 meters. You'll never get there on this machine by the time the game ends anyway. Combat flaps, takeoff flaps, landing flaps, no air brakes, but does have an arrestor gear for landing on carriers. And, well, that's really all you need to know about this particular machine. Outside of the top speed being 671 kilometers in realistic battles. Granted, the takeoff run is also 250 meters, but you can actually push that aircraft a little bit more towards high performance. Now, taking off, obviously climbing, we're about 3,100 meters right now. Diesel is behind us, he'd carry the bombs. Jeebus is aggressively climbing, he's just a little bit above me. And first and foremost, the thing you want to do, especially when you're in an aircraft like this, is don't underestimate your enemies. The thing that I really miss about warthunder realistic battles is a historical matchmaker or some sort of, team versus team where you knew the enemy had a certain advantage or a certain disadvantage and you could play against the strengths. For example, you play USA versus Japan, or maybe you'd be Britain, America, and you'd be versing Germany and Italy, for example. You remember Norway? Ah, those were the days. Anyhow, flying this type of aircraft isn't exactly the greatest fun anymore. It's still as good. The experience is still very much the same and it's unchanged from what it was. It's just that the game feels more compressed as you sort of go up and experience different variety of vehicles. Like me and my squad, we're jumping all over the place and we're just aiming to have a good time, and even then it can be quite difficult to really have a good time unless you're playing, jet aircraft. I find the climb particularly boring, the way you set yourself up, it's all the same. And after 10 years, or almost 10 years for me, coming up very, very soon, it just feels like the same old, same old. Hey, that Sea Hurricane probably won't stand a chance. We've managed to nail him. He's put his fire out almost immediately. This Yak-1, however, didn't stand a chance. I'm using universal at 400 meters gun convergence. That's 2 aircraft down. The Hurricane must have crashed. Again, all I intended was for an assist, and, well, Diesel's now gone into the drink. That J-22 is looking mightily juicy, and there is also a Firefly down there. Ground attack with 4 20mm cannons. That thing is basically like an IL-2. You kind of don't want to really go anywhere near it. It's sort of a machine that you don't really want to engage with unless you really have the upper advantage, which this thing, let's be real, does. And the Firefly can hold its own. I've seen, a couple of squads of those guys just absolutely tear ham into ground units and then come after all the fighters that come near them. Anyway, trying to just get a single hit on a vehicle and trying not to set it on fire is an impossible challenge right now. I have no idea what they've done to the 50 calibers. Because all night, when we played a couple more matches in these things, Jeebus couldn't get the same sort of a field of effect, or at least, burning sensation, should I say. Yeah, here he is, shooting all he can possibly into that poor Firefly. J-22 is also down, and that's 4 kills in under a minute, really. The next thing is potentially, just finding out where everybody is. There's a bunch of medium tanks left I can probably shoot at. But again, not the most ideal vehicle slash, thing to really look at. We are in Cologne. one of those maps that has a bunch of ground units, although we are on the side where the train cars are. So if you want a mass amount of ground units, there's that. And I must admit, the Corsair is one beautiful aircraft. It's one of my favourites. If I was to own an aircraft in the real world, I'd probably have a hangar with at least one of these types of aircraft in them. Just something about the gull wing design and the way that the aircraft is shaped that make it really, really potent. Anyhow, I'm going to fly towards the enemy airfield because I have a feeling that one of the bombers has gone back and rearmed, and I'm not entirely sure where he is. It'd be nice if there were more fighters to engage with and make the video a little bit better, but sometimes that's not what it's about, really, even though this is an ace gameplay video. I haven't actually talked about the armament of this thing. Despite it being battle rating 3.0 at a rank 3, it is armed with 6 12.7 M2 Browning machine guns with 370 rounds per gun for a total of 2,350. And you can also get an option to load 8 H-bar rockets or 2 1,000 pound M65A1 bombs if you really like those particular things. And, you know, for an energy fighter, it's quite potent, but the fact is that the enemy team in this match haven't really put up a decent fight, and that's the thing with most aviation games these days. Unless it's higher tier, I really feel like the age of dogfighting has been over for quite some time. You know, you'll have a good dogfight with one aircraft, and all of a sudden you're being absolutely dominated by 5 or 6 other aircraft types. So, again, another lucky fire on that 188. He is basically... Sorry, 288. Not even a 288, it's just a regular Ju-88. It just goes to show that how far the game has come in the 10-year period that it's been around. Back in 2015, this would have been considered a decent match, but even so, with a bomber that is up at almost, what is that, 8,000 meters? He's basically passively playing and ruining everybody's chance at having a good game. So, you know, pro tip, if you're playing this game and you're playing a bomber aircraft, don't be like that person, even if it means your survival. Now, you're wasting everybody's time. It's just a shame that Gull can't pull a finger out their asshole and actually, you know, design a decent game mode that allows bomber aircraft to be an important part of War Thunder. That is what it is, I guess. Now, I really haven't showcased the pros or the cons of this particular vehicle that well. I've managed to set 4 people on fire. And going back to the airfield on bingo on fuel and waiting for the rearm, well, you can see the rest of the team is still struggling to catch the B-18. So, it's time to enact what we do well and go after some ground units while we watch this P-38 fail to do a run, and there he goes. Look at that. Beautiful. What a spectacular show. It's a shame that the game is now going to be won by me taking some ground units while a bomber climbs AFK. Daka 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 daka. Ding! Target destroyed! Neuron activation activated. Let's do that again, shall we? Right, where's the last one? There are a couple around. There it is. Medium tank. There's 2 of them left. Tickets are barely holding on right now. And roll over, you. Beautiful bastard. Come on. Daka daka daka. Daka daka daka. GG! And sometimes that's an ace and a couple of ground units. It just happens to just be one of those good matches you have occasionally in propeller-driven aircraft. Anyway, thank you very much for watching today's video. What do you think of the Corsair? Let me know down below, and which model is your favourite. Otherwise, thank you for buying my decal, thank you to the channel members, and I'll see you in a video soon. Bye-bye.